order. When the House comes to order. We'll hear from the honourable member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Western Sydney mum Kate has told the ABC that her family are now having to rely on a community pantry to make ends meet, saying she has, quote, relied pretty heavily on them in the last couple of years. Meanwhile, last year the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade spent $17,930 on a Kylie Minogue impersonator at a Wellington food festival. Prime Minister, when Australians are tightening their belts, why can't this Labor government?
The call to the Prime Minister.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for Lindsay. I thank the member for Lindsay for her question. It goes to Kate being concerned about costs of living, something that we share that concern, which is why we're doing everything we can to help people like Kate, the energy bill relief, the cheaper batteries, the cheaper medicines, the free TAFE, the making sure that tax cuts are put in place, the urgent care clinics, including one or many that are in Western Sydney. The member also refers to waste. I hope that if she does know Kate, she tells Kate about the $31 billion in cost blowouts associated with Inland Rail, the $29 billion in cost blowouts for the NBN. At least something was being created there, but we actually paid the French $4 billion to cancel, to not build the submarines. We paid $1.8 billion out to victims of robo-debt. We paid $444 million to the Great Barrier Reef Foundation without a tender process or even consultation with the foundation itself. We spent $660 million on commuter car parks, including where there was no railway station, $423 million on an offshore processing contract awarded to a firm registered to a shack on Kangaroo Island. Now, I'm very affectionate about Kangaroo Island these days, Mr Speaker, but $423 million for a shack registered a company there. $100 million on sports rights funding based on the colour-coded spreadsheet, $70 million on a COVID-safe app that found only two unique positive COVID cases. $30 million for Western Sydney Airport land, remember that? 10 times its value. 10 times its value. And of course, during COVID, the $20 billion of JobKeeper paid to companies who were increasing their profits, not having it decrease. When we talk about waste, the Liberal Party are the experts.
The call to the honourable member for Whitlam.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Prime Minister. What has been the focus of the Albanese Labor government over the past fortnight, and how does this differ to other priorities?
Give the call to the Prime Minister.
I thank the member for Whitlam for her question and for the fantastic contribution she is making to represent the people of the south part of the Illawarra and the Southern Highlands. As a Labor government, when we come to Canberra here, our focus is on delivering for the communities that we represent and delivering for the national interest in line with Australian values, turning the promises that we took to the Australian people that saw us elected in May 2022 and then re-elected with a bigger majority in May 2025 into the progress that people want to see. We know that there's always more to do, more we can achieve together, and Australians can be sure that that will always be our focus. I lead a government that is orderly, that is cohesive, that has proper cabinet processes, that work as a unit together, that make decisions after getting proper information and make sure that it gets implemented. And that is what our focus is
Members on my
every
left.
time we come here to Canberra. But those opposite have shown that their focus is on each other and on themselves. We have a declaration, or not quite a declaration. I watched last night, it was pretty extraordinary. Went out there, a resignation, and then no declaration of why he was resigning, and certainly no policy alternatives being put forward. And that, of course, was on, in terms of timing, on the day that President Herzog was visiting this parliament. Now, that is consistent with the sort of disruption that we've seen, and the timing and the priorities don't seem to matter to those opposite. On the National Day of Mourning for victims of the anti-Semitic Bondi terrorist attack, they announced that the coalition was splitting for the second time. On the day of the funeral of the well-respected across this parliament member for Higgins, the members for Hume and Canning were publicly plotting against their leader at a house in Melbourne. The member for Hume, of course, has been a part of all of this, and today, on the day of the Closing the Gap report, we have the call for a spill and a range of resignations from the front bench. And tomorrow on the morning in which members of the Stolen Generation will attend the breakfast at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, at 9 o'clock, those opposite will be making calls before then and filing into their party room in order to either depose or reaffirm who the leader of the Labor Party is.
Order. Order. The Prime Minister's time has concluded his answer. Just resume. The Prime Minister.
He's not going to be Leader of the House, let alone Leader of Government, Mr Speaker, and I ask that further questions be placed on the notice paper.